Shashi Tharoor. Sir, the student audience.
Thank you. What an evening, and it's wonderful to see so many students, parents, teachers, managers, and the principal gathered together here this evening to celebrate the 75th anniversary of Campion. I have to date myself and admit that when I joined, it was just at the time of the 20th anniversary. My parents had a somewhat disastrous experiment of sending me off to boarding school, which didn't work terribly well. And after a year away, during which I managed to get thoroughly homesick, and the people running the school, the brothers, wrote to my parents saying this boy needs his parents. I came back and was admitted to Campion. Joined a wonderful group of classmates and had 6 very interesting, very happy years until, alas, my parents got transferred. My father got transferred out of Mumbai, and I went off and finished high school elsewhere. But I have very fond memories. Those were extremely impressionable years, and Campion obviously made a huge mark on me. So I feel particularly privileged to be with you all in order to celebrate such an auspicious occasion. And I joined, in fact, Father Moore was the principal. He then went on to be the illustrious founder of Campion School, Bombay. And he was succeeded by Father Rebo. And one thing I remember about Father Rebo was that when my father was transferred, it was the middle of January 1969, which was obviously far too late for school admissions. And of course, one wanted to go to another Jesuit school, since the Jesuits had done such a good job of educating me in Campion. But all it took was for Father Rebo to write 2 lines on the back of his visiting card. And the 2 lines were, "This is the boy I spoke to you about." And so I went to Calcutta clutching this visiting card 3 weeks after the academic year had begun, 4 weeks, and far too late for admission. Walked into the principal's office, presented the card, and was promptly admitted. That showed you that Campion's credit went a long way, even in those days. Looking at all the teachers here, some of whom posed with me for pictures, was an intimidating experience. One remembered as a child being awestruck by all these gorgeous and very impressive young ladies who taught us. They were all inevitably moving on in a couple of years to go off and get married at us. But while they were there, sort of, we all acquired enlightenment. And I still remember Miss Monto, Miss Driver, and poor Miss Balchandani, because I remember school is a civilizing experience. And one of my experiences featured Miss Balchandani at the end of a particular session of classwork. This was in class 3. She summoned all the children to hand over their class exercise books. And by the time I got to the table where the books were being handed over to her, there was quite a melee. We hadn't yet been taught the virtues of queuing. So there was this entire throng around her of we must have had 40, 45 kids in the class, so about 35 ahead, and they all standing around the table thrusting their classwork books at her. So I, being a problem solver from a very early age, decided the shortest way to get to the pile of received exercise books on her lap was to toss mine in a neat parabola over the heads of all the students in front of me, until it landed with unerring precision right on the pile on her lap. I expected applause. Instead, she leapt from her seat in fury and shouted, "Jungli!" which did wonders for my Hindi vocabulary. I had to ask my North Indian friends at the time what that meant. Beginning of one's education. I certainly learned not to do that again. And that's part of the experience, of course, of growing up in school. I won't mention Mr. Bodhiwala. Is he here this evening? Somebody told me there was an outside chance he might come. Mr. Hodiwala was our sports teacher, and I was notoriously a slacker when it came to the sports field. But worse, I was senior sixer in a school Cubs. Do you still have Cubs in the Scouts? Yes. So I was, in pole position to become a scout. But my father said, no, we have to toughen you up with Mr. Hodiwala. You will join the NCC. And Mr. Hodiwala made sure that I took quite a few rounds in the back garden in my hobnail boots. I was hoping to confront him there, but alas, I'm sorry he's missing. But those were the wonderful times. And as Nihal, my classmate, mentioned, school was also a time when you learned outside the classroom. There were the things that, if people tell me today, as they do, that they appreciate the way I speak, I have to give the credit where it belongs, and that's to Campion School. Elocution was a big thing. We all learned up passages written by other people, of course, but declaimed them with the proper pauses and flow and dramatic effect. Rustam Vakil was here a few minutes ago reminding me of a particular passage that he claims I was notorious for declaiming with a great deal of pleasure, called The Boy, right, Rustam? Which was all about what a useless creature of God's invention the boy was, and how the boy would get up to all sorts of scrapes and mischief, and how if you empty his pockets he would find pencils and pieces of string and chewing gum and materials with unknown substances. Boys, of course, have not got any better since. I'm sure the ones who are so smartly attired and singing for us today are exceptions. Reassure their parents. Campion also started debates very young, and again, that's something which I particularly missed as a parent, because when I put my children into the prestigious United Nations International School in New York, I was horrified to discover they had no debating available until well into late high school. Whereas in Campion, we started debating in class 4. And sure enough, initially my father wrote my speeches for me, and I mugged them up as we were all trained to do. But eventually the habit of declaiming, and of course you did have to answer back, taught me to become the debater that I did become. The inter-school debates, however, only started, I think, from high school. It was class 8 or class 9 up above. But we had a wonderful tradition where when our seniors went off to places like the enemy school, Cathedral, to hammer them at debates, our secret weapon were the pesky lower class fellows like me who were not eligible to be in the debate team, but were allowed to be interrogators from the audience. Because I don't know if the system is still the same, but in those days, after the speakers had made their prepared speeches, the audience could ask questions. And I was relied upon by Campion School to ask the Cathedral boys the toughest questions. So the process of interrogation also became part of the pleasure of being in school and being a debater or a speaker. I have been very careful and polite in these days of political correctness not to mention the back garden we shared with our convent. But I can, is that what you said? You're encouraging me?
St. Anne's.
And St. Anne's, I'm so sorry.
Yes.
I'll tell you why my bias to Fort Common, nothing inappropriate. I had 2 sisters there. So the important thing was to be able to be with my friends in the back garden and somehow avoid meeting one's sisters. So I was very conscious of the Fort Common entrances and exits. But St. Anne's too, of course, and many classmates had sisters at St. Anne's as well. And of course, I still remember the back garden as an impossibly large Maidan. I think of the Firozshah Kotla cricket ground. I think that's smaller than our back garden. I'm sure that as I've grown in size and so on, that it'll probably look a bit smaller to my eyes, but I'm glad to hear it's still there and still being used. And of course it helps Campion boys discover the importance of gender, which is also part of growing up in life. frankly, back gardens are also places of physical activity. Sneha and I think Campion parents have become much naughtier since my time. No, I meant the exercising kind, actually. When Sneha started talking about my being his classmate, I was realizing that he and I first met 54 years and about that many kilos ago. So we all have gone through various life-changing experiences with Campion. Campion laid the foundation of all of them. Campion also was where I had the great pleasure of discovering a taste for theatre. The first drama classes in Mumbai, any Mumbai school, were offered by Campion when Pearl Padamsi started drama classes at Campion in January of 1966. I remember, apart from her own brilliance as a drama teacher and how much those of us who volunteered to do this, it was after school hours, so you really had to want to do it. I also remember that almost in her first or second class, she walked in to announce with great feminist satisfaction that India had just elected a woman prime minister, Indira Gandhi. And that was again a moment of education. The teachers were always people who, beyond the textbook, beyond the curriculum, which they always taught very well, would make sure we were aware of what was going on in the outside world, would exchange ideas and opinions with us, and I must say would encourage argument. I still remember Mrs. Lobo, class teacher in class 6, who got the entire class, in childhood sexism, we were all about 10 or 11 at the time, into a very animated debate about whether men or women made better cooks. I assure you that was not in the curriculum. It just was, she expressed an opinion and somebody said, no, my mother cooks far better. There it started. And we certainly got an education about gender roles and stereotyping and talents and so on right in the classroom. And then we had various extracurricular activities, as Dale mentioned. I as a child, always wanted to play cricket very badly. And that's exactly what I did when I grew up. I played cricket very badly. I still remember I was the captain of the class team in class 3, vice captain in class 4, and in the reserves by class 5. But it was fun playing, and that's why when the logo came up, and I saw all of these sports being depicted in the shadows and then going into the logo, I said to Mr. Machado, what happened to the cricket team? And he said, they were very good cricket teams. I said, why aren't they in your logo? So I think for the 100th anniversary, one change has to be planned. But anyway, we also had amateur sports of the students' own devising. There was, I remember, weekend wrestling competitions. The matches were as fixed as the ones you could see from Vindara Singh and Randhawa near Mahalakshmi. But I remember the task I was assigned, because I was a scrawny, skinny-looking asthmatic kid who couldn't possibly have had anything to do with the wrestling match. I was assigned the task of being the official commentator. So I still came across a few friends who remember those wrestling matches in which I was going around the ring commenting on each one, grappling the other. And I know these stories, frankly, sound far more enjoyable if you've actually been in them than if you're talking about them. So forgive nostalgia, which is something that terminally affects all boys in every school. But it's just to say to the young ones who are still at school, that things that seem to you totally routine today, things that you don't really give any importance to, even take for granted, will loom large in your memories decades from now as you look back on your experience of this institution. In fact, Mr. Machado, I also, apart from debating in elocution, did some writing on the side for the school magazine and also for publication outside. And I had a couple of stories published while I was still at Campion. I remember the school principal very graciously felicitating me at assembly for a story I published in the magazine outside, and I continued doing that. So when I left to go to Calcutta, my father actually endowed a trophy for the best short story writer in Campion. I gather it fell into disuse a few years later because no one wanted to write short stories in Campion anymore. But if you would delve into the innermost recesses of those glass-fronted silver cabinets outside the principal's office, somewhere you will find a shield or a trophy for the best short story writer in Campion. It might be amusing to resurrect that prize. There will be some winners from the late 60s and early 70s before people stopped. But maybe a talent for fiction will have returned to Campion. Now, after all, that's all they see on their news channels is fiction. I do want, in fact, to mention to Mr. Machado, I think I just called him Father Machado because all principals of my time were fathers. Mr. Machado won the De Rosio Prize for his contributions to education. And I think there's no fitter occasion than to offer him a really warm round of applause. This was at the Anglo-Indian Schools Association's annual conference in Jaipur, which I was asked to keynote just a few days ago. And unfortunately, I couldn't meet Mr. Mutadla because I was on my way to my constituency just ahead of the approaching cyclone, which almost prevented me from coming today as well, but since I'm here, I will go into that. But one of the things that I was asked to speak about at that occasion was education, and Mr. Machado asked me if I'd mention a couple of the points, not the whole lot. I know we don't want a marathon speech this evening here. A couple of the things that I thought were worth saying, because they came out of my experience as a student in India and both school and college, as a student abroad thereafter, and then as a minister for education, where I've had a chance to see at close quarters what ails our system and what doesn't. And I'd say that one of the things that ails our system, very honestly, is that we spend too much of our time in education merely preparing children for examinations. And I say this without the slightest hint of scar grapes, as the school records will show I was very good at taking examinations. I kept coming first and everything, but it didn't actually, into my mind, mean anything very much, because a talent for taking examinations is just that, it's a talent. And the problem of an approach that focuses on examinations is that you are obsessed with drilling facts into the children's minds, telling them what's in the textbook, repeating it until it gets into their heads, and obliging them to regurgitate it then in the examinations. But that really isn't education. The great poet William Butler Yeats once said that education is not about filling a pail or bucket. It's about lighting a fire. It's igniting the minds of the students. And that's why it seems to me requires a different approach. The truth is that that examinations in some ways are testing the wrong thing. They're testing how much a child remembers the facts he's learned.